So you heard about Trump, right? So there was a civil case about a sexual assault that he did apparently in the 90s.
I heard the walls are closing in. That's all I know.
Walls are closing in.
Yeah.
And so he has to pay her. They didn't say that he. So they
said something happened.
They said some kind of sexual assault happened, and he has to pay her like $2 million for his. Can you look up what his damages are?
$5 million total, right?
$5 million total. He has to pay this one for like defamation, and then for some damages. We'll get you the exact numbers in a second. But I don't really pay attention to this stuff, right? I didn't pay attention to any of this stuff because it's all the same. That, you know, there's Bill Clinton with Juanita Broderick. There's Joe Biden with Tara Reid. Everybody's got these things in their skeletons in their closet. And this one seemed super suspicious.
Way back when it came out.
Right back when it came out,
right.
It seemed suspicious. But
it says Donald Trump must pay $5 million in damages for sexually abusing magazine writer Jean Carroll in the 1990s. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, that's it. So $5 million. They split it up. Some's for the pain and suffering, and some is for the. But when I saw this, it's this guy DC Trano tweeted out, "Did you know that the statute of limitations for sexual assault in New York is typically 5 to 7 years? New York even has a 20-year period for civil claims of sexual assault. But that wasn't enough to get Trump. Jean Carroll's claims go back to the mid-90s. So New York amended the law. When did they amend it? In 2022. To provide unlimited statute of limitations for civil claims of sexual assault, and provided a 1-year window where pre-existing claims could be litigated." That's where Jean Carroll comes in. Funded by a Democrat activist, she filed her claim against Trump in that limited window, and even a liberal New York jury wouldn't find Trump liable for rape. People paying attention know what this truly is, another political attack to try and harm Trump before the 2024 election. So they really did this. Like, I couldn't believe. So I checked it. Well, first of all, I'll show you this. This person tweeted out and says they literally changed the law for 1 year only from 2022 to 2023, allowing the statute of limitations to be suspended just so she could accuse him with zero evidence. And she goes on to say there can't be any evidence. It's 30 years old. There was no rape kit done. There's no police getting evidence from the scene because no police report was made. Not even any people interviewed when it happened. All there is her story. It's 30 years too late to secure evidence. So there was no evidence. It was just her story in a civil case.
Well, I watched an interview with her. She still has the dress. Remember, like, Monica Lewinsky kept the dress? And, like, why'd you do that? And, like, because that was her evidence to not be destroyed by them. That it really happened.
Right.
So Trump, like, well, we'll do a DNA. We'll offer DNA. No, I don't want to do that.
Well, here, watch this. So I'm like, is that true? So I looked it up, and because that guy linked to an article, and here it is. Forbes says statute of limitations. This is from last year. Statute of limitations on sexual assault eliminated for 1 year in New York. For 1 year, they did this. This did this so they could exactly do this to Trump. And I have to remind people, everyone knows I'm no fan of Trump. But people who aren't a fan of Trump need to realize that if anybody from the outside attacked the establishment, if Bernie Sanders, I tell Bernie voters, if Bernie Sanders actually had the spine to grab power, which he doesn't, but if he did, this is what they would be doing to him. Stuff like this. They would be passing laws and they already said he was a Russian. They already said his followers were. They said he was a sexist. They said his followers were sexist, misogynist, and violent. And they already did all the stuff they're doing to Trump, and they did, and so that's why this is wrong. So I'm not, again, no fan of Trump, and everybody should, but it's obvious what they're doing. The last lawsuit they did to him was this exact same thing. That DA in New York did the same thing. This is all because they are afraid that they can't beat Donald Trump at the ballot box, and this is so obvious. It's mental. Go ahead, Kurt.
They're all saying it. That's why they're all on board for this bizarre. So it's done now. The law, because you're like, hey, there should be no statute of limitations. Never mind about what the reasons that we have that. There shouldn't be. Only for that 1 year, and now we're going back to there is one.
That's right.
So that's the part where I can't, like, well, it's just Because I would ask, okay, so what's this for? So they have a window, you know.
So here's what they say it's
yeah.
for. You want to see what the article says? Here's what the article. Oh shit!
It's because of Me Too, right?
So
what I thought they said was society's attitude has changed towards this. So now there's people that didn't ever come forward that now can come forward. Okay, great. And they will continue to be for 1 year.
Just this 1 year. Just this 1 year.
It's real strange.
So
why only a year?
Well, that's great, Kurt, because now victims of decades-old sexual assault can finally seek justice for a 1 year window, and then not anymore after that. It's wise and in no way suspicious at all.
I guess I wasn't thinking.
Come on, Kurt. So this is what Forbes says. As a result of by the way, I have video coming up of this woman. So sit around. As a result of the ASA, this is the Assault Whatever Act, survivors will be provided a 1 year window. That's it. So that's true. So I looked it up, and then it's going to expire. So after November of this year, you can't. No, but they're going to put back in the statute of limitations.
Wow.
In November, then it's over. After we got Trump on a civil. And so, but why was she able to get to court so quickly? Well, the ASA additionally grants trial preference to such actions and directs the chief administrator of the courts to promulgate rules that enable the revived actions to be adjudicated so they passed the law written specifically to get Donald Trump
right
before the election. And they did it.
And then gave it trial preference. That's part of the law. This one.
Yes, and they had to give it trial. And so they had to put that in the law too, that they had to speedily get this trial to court. And
what
they
other
did.
Trials besides this one have gone through, I wonder.
I wonder how many. I tried to find it, couldn't find that number. The measure is just the most recent. This is what Forbes says. It says the measure is just the most recent action by the state of New York to give sexual abuse survivors some time to process before determining the next course of action.
What?
No, this is just the latest measure and most recent action by the Democratic establishment to try to screw Donald Trump before he runs for office again, because they know they're so corrupt that people are still willing to vote for a game show host over their chosen candidates because they know they're the same. They know we have a uniparty. They've known this since 1990, and I think it's just now it's over. And the fact that people are willing to vote for a clown like Trump because of because the system is actually more corrupt than he is. Get this. So they go on CNN this morning. I think this was this morning. Her and her lawyer, and her lawyer admits that she was instrumental in getting this law passed. Watch this.
Can I end on something that I think is really important in all of this? And it's the fact that New York passed this law.
Yeah.
The Adult Survivors Act. They passed it just a few years ago. Were it not for that law...
No, yes, last year. Not just a few years ago, last year. And it's only for 1 year.
It's almost over.
It's almost, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Never would have been able to bring this case. And I just think it speaks to the importance for a lot of other survivors.
Exactly. I would never have this window, this year of having the ability to bring a lawsuit for rape. Robbie can explain it better.
Well, EJ actually helped to get that law passed. It passed last year. We filed, it was Thanksgiving Day. It was the first day you could sue. We filed just after midnight on Thanksgiving.
How do you file a lawsuit at midnight? I don't do you do that? I'm guessing electronically because the court's not open at midnight, right?
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, I just think that's wild. So, but here she was. So now you know what they did. Now you know that that last guy, that Bragg, was the DA, Alvin Bragg, completely just concocted a case that everyone knew was a joke to try to prosecute Donald Trump before he runs for president.
Biden helpers that came to help him.
Had some Biden helpers come from the Justice Department. We logged that on this show. We were the only show to log that, by the way. And so they then pass a law that lets this lady sue Donald Trump for something that happened in the mid-90s, and there's zero evidence of it. But they go into a civil case, so they make it so she could go into a civil case. and the juries are going to, of course, they're going to side with the woman, and they did. Anyway, I don't know what happened.
In New York, where they hate Trump, and they passed this law special for one lady.
They passed this law special for this lady.
Well,
to do this.
I would say hear her out, because the reason I'm like, no, is because I've listened to her many times, and every time I'm like, what?
Isn't it amazing how much? So the Democrats passed that law, that law that said you could do this. Isn't it amazing how much the Democrats care about sexual assault victims, Kurt? I mean, God. I mean, except that one that accused Biden.
Yeah, she's not a survivor. She doesn't. They go, oh, this so survivors can come forward. Well, also liars, which is what you called Tara Reid.
Right, they called Tara Reid a liar.
They didn't call her survivor. You hear that?
They said
there's
Tara Reid's
no such thing as a perfect victim. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's either you're a victim or you were not a victim. I don't care how perfect. What does that even have to do with anything?
Democrats they said Tara Reid was lying because she once made a neutral statement about Putin. I'm pretty sure. So we knew she was lying about that sexual assault rape from Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So here's a weird interview. Well, here's what she said.
They said Tara Reid was crazy. They're like, she's kind of kooky.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Is she kooky? Okay.
Is she?
Victim.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just,
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Mm.
Where do you hang out?
Think of the fantasies.
Mm. We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more.
Okay, I wasn't expecting. I don't know how to. I got to reload before I pull a Don Lemon.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know what to her. What?
Oh my God! So
what she says next is crazier. Okay, what's this?
Well, is this?
Wait,
because it cut off part of it.
I'm going to play it.
The other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
I thought she was credible up until that statement. Up until she said that Anderson Cooper was fascinating to talk to.
It's cut off in the beginning, I think, because she said, I don't call it a rape.
She doesn't call it a rape.
So what are we doing here? Why you would talk?
Well, here's what she's. Go ahead.
Well, so okay, all the crazy thing there. Okay, she's older. Maybe she doesn't understand the politics of it. Fine. What do you mean you? Because rape has a real sexual kind of. It also has a legal one that you might be very carefully trying to dance around for this cockamamie case. Is what it sounds like to me. I don't know anybody who got raped who's like, no, I don't call it that because it wasn't sexy. I've never heard anyone ever say that, even in like the most.
That, at the very least, that was kind of a bizarre statement.
Well, it sounds like you're tiptoeing around not wanting to commit to the bit. And it's fully, I mean, I wasn't throwing the floor or anything. It wasn't exact. Well, what happened exactly?
Well, here's what she says happened. Here, I'll play it. Here's what she says happened. She went on Lawrence O'Donnell.
At about 30 seconds, he pushed himself up against me with one shoulder. You know, he's a large man. Mm-hmm. Not as large as he is now, but he was, 6'3". At the time, I was wearing 4-inch heels, so I was a good 6'1", and I was a competitive athlete.
What?
And so he's going to have to struggle to do anything, and he's trying to kiss me again, which was just, which stopped me laughing for a minute, but then I could push him back. But the next thing he did was put his shoulder against me, and then his hand went. I was wearing just a black Donna Karan coat dress and tights. And it was a work of a second to reach in under my Donna Karan, it opened in the front and through the Donna Karan dress and pulled down my tights. That's when my brain went on. That's when the adrenaline started, and it became a fight. And it hurt. And it was against my will. And I don't know where I got the strength, because he was big, but I think I was stomping my foot. I have my handbag in this arm. I never put it down. I'm holding it. I have no idea. The only reason I know I'm holding it is because when I got out in the street, I still had it in my hand. So somehow I got my knee up and pushed him back. And the minute he backed up, I was out the door.
So what happened? Where does she ever say the word herself? Like in the deposition, does she say?
I don't know. Because
on these, she's like, I wouldn't call it that, and then she doesn't say it here. She only says the parts from the Billy Bush tape.
But that doesn't sound like. So it sounds like he might have digitally.
Yeah,
with his fingers touched.
Remember, he said, "When they're rich, they let you do it. When you're rich,
they let you."
I kiss them, and I do. That's the only thing she's saying, and then nothing else. And so maybe in the court she goes, and then I was raped, but I don't remember hearing her saying it, and it's weird to me to hear. I don't really call it that. It was a fight. I was like, what exactly happened? What is the case about? It seems suspicious, almost like the entire thing's tailored around that recording. And then you have this new law. Yeah.
I can believe her story 100% and still think that this case is should scare everybody, because this is how the establishment takes you down when they don't like you. This is what they're doing. They passed a law specifically so this woman was involved in passing the law so she could, without any evidence, which there isn't, it was just her word against him, do this. And the jury found her credible, and the jury found her sympathetic. And
I'm not saying I can't believe it. I'm saying I don't.
I'm not. It doesn't even matter if I believe her or not. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. I'm saying the fact that they did the political and legal shenanigans they did to make this happen should scare everybody. That they pass a certain law so they can go after a political opponent. This is the exact thing they claim Trump would do to you. This is what they said Trump would do to his political opponents. This is why they call him a fascist and a dictator, because he threatens to lock up his political opponents. Remember, he would say, lock her up? Well, they've been trying to lock this guy up since he got elected. They're passing laws to do it. Biden's sending guys from his Justice Department to the DA's office in New York so they can come up with some cock-baby story to try to get him on a felony. And everyone knows it's cockamamie. And now there's this. They literally passed a law just for him. That is, if that doesn't scare you, because that's what they would do to Bernie Sanders. That's what they would do to anybody they see as an outsider. They don't care if Mitt Romney or DeSantis or Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, or Joe Biden is president. It doesn't matter to the people who really run the country. Apparently, it matters if Trump becomes president. Apparently, he's enough of a wrecking ball, enough of an outsider, that they'll do this to him, and they're doing it. And that's why this should concern everybody. I could find her completely credible. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It should be scary to everybody. Anything you want to say?
It was scary when they did it to Johnny Depp. Like this nonsense.
Right?
First of all, the thing of it's a year, so we're going to have this, because attitudes are different. If it's illegal to do that, it's illegal to do that. You don't open up for 1 year. We're not observing your basic rights.
Right.
Are you joking? For a thing where, no, I remember, whatever. I remember Janice Dickinson talked about Cosby. I remember that? And I believed every word she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You have a real detailed, unflinching, someone who has distance from a thing. She'd talk about it like, oh, it was a fight, kind of, and it was flirty. And what every interview she gave is so crazy and doesn't sound serious at all. And the fact that it's being so pushed is like, such you saw Tara Reid, how they tore her down, and she was coherent.
Yeah.
Her story made some kind of sense, and I understood what happened. I still don't know what the hell happened in this story.
I don't know what happened either. I certainly concur that Tara Reid was very credible, and she spoke clearly about the incident and what happened. And there was actually the Larry King video that corroborated that she told. Anyway, this, again, doesn't matter to me. That's just extra, but that if you find her not credible, that doesn't really matter.
The law is supposed to protect against. It's supposed to do its best to protect against.
This is really underhanded stuff they're doing to their political. This is a political prosecution. They did it. Oh my God. Check out my new stand-up special, COVID Lies Are Funny, at jimmydore.com. Only $10. Become a premium member. We're going to be on tour in Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, California, Baltimore, Maryland, and San Francisco, California. Plus, did we say Chicago? There's lots of stuff. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. See you there.